Welcome to the Divine Gossip Podcast. I'm your host, Mackenzie Foster, a professional psychic medium, tarot reader, and spiritual mentor, here to provide you with the next steps towards your dream reality, along with clarity and deep validation while on your spiritual journey. I have an immense passion for all things paranormal, spiritual, and of course, having some super fun chats with incredibly knowledgeable people. In each episode, we will expand our minds, ignite our inner psychics, embrace our spiritual awakening journeys, and live a super grounded, witchy life. I hope you learned something new in today's episode. Hello, and welcome back to the Divine Gossip Podcast. Happy Tuesday if you're listening on a Tuesday. If you're watching on YouTube, I have a little bit of a different setup going on. One, if you see me looking like a little below the camera, it's because that's where my viewfinder is and that's where I can see myself, and I'm obsessed with myself. So I'm gonna be looking there. Anyway, we have a different setup. I'm more backed up from the camera. I am holding a mic instead of just having one in my face or like out in the background where you can't see it. For those who don't know, I film like bonus episodes of my podcast. I have like a whole after show, and my soul guidance membership people get access to those every Tuesday. And I filmed one a few weeks ago where I was holding the mic like this, which I filmed that one in the Jeep in my car. And that was so fucking fun. I loved it. And I will be filming a lot more episodes in my car now. But I was holding the mic in that and I actually loved it. I watch a lot of podcasts myself, obviously. Hopefully that's not too shocking. But yeah, I love podcasts, and a lot of my favorite podcasters have like they hold their mics. So I like the vibe. I like the vibe. So welcome back. Oh my God. I know I haven't made an episode in a few weeks. I couldn't even really tell you why. I feel like I just didn't have much to share, which is not true. I guess I could tell you why. Let's get into it. I'm like already like thinking of the reason why as I'm saying I don't have a reason why. I just was feeling very uninspired. Like I feel like I have to, I don't know. It was really, I was not motivated to think of any like topics to talk about that I felt actually lit me up. And yeah, that's why. So, yeah, I don't know. That's why. So I'm back and I feel a lot better. I had some drama setting up the podcast equipment here. I normally would be using my giant Rode mic that like hangs from the like it's like a Rode mic that looks wrong, but it looks like a mic, and it just kind of hangs there and picks up my voice, and it's really nice. I love the audio. However, it doesn't fucking work. It doesn't fucking work ever. And it's really pissing me off, and it makes me feel horrible whenever I have to film the podcast, because it should be an easy, I should be able to do this very easily and not have this big drama every time I go to record something. So I'm just going to be using this guy because we love her. And although you can probably like hear my rings all over it and it picks up a lot more than that one does, it's still good audio, and I like holding a mic and it doesn't give me any fucking issues. So, Yeti, thank you for making great mics. It's a blue Yeti mic, highly recommend. Rode, why do you have to be so complicated? And I don't think I need that huge complicated equipment when I don't even have like a big studio yet like I want. You know what I mean? So I'm just not even gonna put myself through that stress anymore. Jesus. So anyway, that's the intro. Welcome. I feel like I always start these episodes like complaining, but I'm just being fucking real. It's hard to film podcasts, okay? I don't know how people do it so easily. Probably because they're have like, I don't know, teams that do this, but it's just me, okay? It's just me right now, for now. But I'm excited to film this episode today because it's a topic that I feel very, very passionate about and that I've struggled with a lot in my life. And hopefully, this speaks to you. because I have a lot of notes on my phone here next to me. And yeah, it's going to be a juicy one. So take notes, pause when you need to, share with your friends, all the things. Make sure you add Divine Gossip to your Apple Podcasts and Spotify libraries, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure if you're not already watching on YouTube, you're watching this on the Mackenzie Collective YouTube channel. I am also going to start uploading some different kinds of videos on YouTube as well. So my YouTube channel's gonna be fucking popping. Okay, so you better go subscribe so you're not left out of the loop. So you're in with the cool kids. Okay. But anyway, let's get into it. So I'm like 99% sure that, well, I know we entered Taurus season at the time I'm filming this. So I feel like this topic is really relevant, the topic of rest. Um, Taurus season, I'm pretty sure it starts April 19th or April 20th. Around there, Taurus season starts, which basically just means that in the sky, the sun is aligned with the constellation Taurus, which is the zodiac sign associated with the zodiac sign Taurus. And Taurus is an earth sign. It's very practical and stubborn and earthy and grounded and loves material matters and is naturally good at handling those things. And they are very chill. They're very chill. Most earth signs, hello, are chill. That's how I think of Taurus. And Taurus is um, Venus, I'm pretty sure, is exalted in Taurus. Venus loves Taurus. So I think of Taurus um, traits as very Venusian, very beauty and prosperity and love and comfort and pleasure. So Taurus season is those vibes. And I feel like with that category, rest and sleep and recharging and taking care of yourself and especially your physical body is a huge theme in Taurus season. So I thought this theme for today's podcast, this topic for today's podcast is very fitting. Especially because it's a really big lesson I'm learning in my life right now. And the whole point of this episode, I want to, I guess, persuade you that rest is actually productive and there is a lot of power, spiritual power in doing less. And I'm still learning this myself right now. I'm practicing this myself right now for the very first time. So I feel like I have a lot to share about what I've been learning around these things. And I feel like I have so many points to dive into. So let's just get right into it. For me, when I hear the word rest, I think of, well, a lot of things come up. A lot of people in my life have different opinions on what rest means to them, how they feel about rest. And it's a huge theme in my personal life, like not just with me, but I see it in like my loved ones, like how they rest and if they rest and all these things. So getting into rest and what that means to me. There are so many misconceptions on what I think rest should mean for people. I think I am just now understanding that rest is productive and it's needed to be our most productive, successful selves. And that was really, really hard for me to comprehend and to actually live by because it's one thing to just like tell yourself that. And I think that for the past few months, I was just telling myself that, like, rest is, I need rest. Like, don't feel guilty. Rest isn't lazy. Like, I need rest. But every time I would rest, I still would feel lazy and I would feel like I'm wasting my time. And I didn't really embody the fact that rest actually equals productivity and it's a huge part of the equation to be successful. I never actually believed that and lived by that. I would just tell my brain that and then not actually believe myself. So I definitely think that when we think of rest in today's age in today's society, it's got a lot of negative connotations. Like, you yourself may think it's lazy. I definitely used to be like that a few years ago. I would think that every time I rested, I was lazy, and that's because of childhood trauma and societal beliefs that are instilled into my head. And I'm sure it's the same for you. I grew up being told that, well, not My dad would always tell me that rest is lazy, that if I laid in bed for a little too long, that, excuse me, I needed to get outside and do something with my life. And he would never let me slow down. And I feel like my mom always supported when I slowed down. She was always very nurturing and caring in that way, which I'm very grateful for. But she herself, I see her like work really, really hard and not take time to really recharge. And she's way better at it now. But I still see those themes in my parents, is my point. I see them think that they don't deserve rest, or that rest equals laziness, or that you're a burnt out loser, whatever their story is, right? So I grew up on those stories, and those were definitely instilled in me. And I think that when, just a quick point here, when parents instill that in a child, it actually does the opposite. It makes them do it more, because it creates anxiety and depression. And then when you have so much anxiety and depression, you actually become crippled and can't do shit. And then you are just wallowing in that like guilty, lazy feeling. Like that's the loop I got caught into. And then I am a very black and white person. So, of course, as I got older, I completely flipped that and was like, oh, if I can't rest all the time, if I can't do anything all the time, then I'm just going to do something all the time. I'm going to be so productive and smash all these goals and go, go, go and work so fucking hard until I can't do it anymore and completely burn out, because that's what success is. That's what I was taught. So, I have been working through that. I completely unconsciously have been in this pattern for, I would say, about a year now, where I didn't even realize I was doing this. I literally would work so hard where my calendar looked fucking nuts. Like I literally showed my boyfriend my calendar like a few weeks ago when I was in this like pattern, and he was like, holy shit, my brain would explode. And I'm like, yeah, like it's just like my life. But I didn't realize I was actually fucking killing me. um I would fill up my calendar so hard so that I didn't have any time for myself. I would always have a plan, like not always have a plan, but I would always have plans every single night, even after I would work hard all day and be around people all day. I would constantly be producing, working hard, running around like a chicken with her head cut off. I would be running myself, working myself to the bone so, so hard for like a week or two. And then after that week or two would like stop, like I would come off that high of being so productive, I would completely crash. Literally, I did this in the end of last year. I think, yeah, it was December. It was either January or December, January of this year or December of last year, obviously. I remember being so busy where I would like not sleep until like 2 a.m. because I was literally working. And then I would wake up at like 6 a.m. and go do like an all day event, or like go hang out with people, or continue to work on stuff for my business or marketing or school or whatever it was. And I literally only would have time to sleep. That was it. I didn't have time to relax and recharge, or give myself time to like take care of my body and like slow down for 1 second. Like I don't even think I sat on the couch for more than a minute, like before I fucking, hold on, the camera shut off and it distracted me. Meet, meet, meet. What the heck? Here we go. Sorry about that. The camera shut off. I forgot it has a timer on it that I need to fix. Um, I don't even think I took like 5 minutes to just fucking sit on the couch and like do nothing for like 5 minutes. And that was starting to catch up to me. I started to have panic attacks. I was constantly exhausted. I feel like my brain was like shutting off every hour, where I couldn't think. Like it would, my nervous system was so overflowed with tasks and to-do lists and plans that my brain would just stop working after a little bit, or I would be driving on the highway and have panic attacks and need to pull over. Like that happened once. Or I would have anxiety attacks before I go to bed because I couldn't stop thinking about what I had to do the next day. It is a horrible, horrible energy to be in where you feel like you have to work so hard to catch up with people around you because you're comparing yourself to where they're at, or to feel like you are behind in life in general and you're putting unrealistic expectations and standards on yourself because you want to be successful, or to feel like you have to work hard and accomplish these goals because you're not worthy or you don't have value or worth without those goals. That's been huge for me. And I've literally been integrating the lesson of like productivity does not equal worth. I have been integrating that and it's been really difficult. Um, but yeah, that's why I'm making this episode, is because I was literally in that pattern of like, holy shit, if I keep doing this, I'm going to I'm going to have some serious health issues, or I'm going to get in a fucking car accident because I'm panicking on the road, or my relationships are going to fall apart because I'm not taking care of myself first. I'm constantly focusing on everyone else and if they're okay and if they need help doing anything. Like, why am I doing that to myself? This is my life. It all starts with me. It all starts with me. It all starts within. And if I'm not good within, if I'm not filled up within, I'm gonna like fucking die that way. Like, fuck that. It's just it was a complete reframe of how I saw how I wanted to live my life. And it actually, a psychic pointed out this pattern. I didn't even realize I was doing this pattern myself. A psychic told me. I was doing a psychic fair, actually. I was reading all day, stuck in that grind of I'm going to work on my business, make money, all these things, and be so successful and all these things. And I felt so called that day after my readings were all done, to get a reading. And I got a reading from another psychic, Katrina. Hi, I don't know if you listen to my podcast, but I fucking love you. Um, I think her business name is Serenity Works. I don't know. I follow her on Instagram, so she's incredible. Holy shit. I mean, the best psychic I've ever been to in my life. And that's coming from a psychic. Like, I'm not even kidding. She's incredible. I felt really, really called to get a reading from her that day. I didn't care how much it was. I don't care how long it took. I don't care if I had to wait all day. I was getting a reading. And I woke up that morning, my intuition screaming at me to get guidance. Because also, I never get readings myself, which I'm starting to do more regularly now because it's nice to have an outside perspective. And I tell people that all the time because I am a reader, but I wasn't following that advice myself. So there was a lot of reasons why I wanted to get a reading that day. But yeah, I'm at this event and I was like, I'm going to get a reading. And I sat down with her. She graciously let me on her list. I was her last reading of the day. And she was reading me like a fucking book, just doing her job very damn well. And she looked at me and she was like, I don't know, they're giving me this feeling of like panicking, like panic attacks or like anxiety, just like you're about to like panic. And I was like, yeah, that feeling has been coming up for me a lot lately where I'm just driving home or I'm driving to another event. It's always when I'm driving. I don't know why. Um, Probably because I need to stop driving so much, which I still have to work on. But it's like this panicking feeling of like, this is too much. Holy shit. Like it's my heart starts beating fast, my legs start to go numb, I start to feel very dizzy and faint, and I start to lose feeling and lose my breath. And it's like a panic attack starting. And I have to calm myself down and all of that. That's why I stopped smoking weed, because of the panic attacks. Like all of these things were coming up for me. And she picked up on that immediately. And she was like, yo, if you keep working yourself to the bone, you're something bad is going to happen to you. The universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is going to make you slow down. Whether that's you get really fucking sick or something bad happens or an inconvenience happens that pisses you off, it's going to show up in a really bad way if you don't take your body signals to slow down. And for you, It doesn't have to come in panic attacks. It can come in randomly crying sometimes, or stressing out very easily, getting very frustrated easily, getting very pissed off easily. Um, you feel like you have no time for yourself. Like it can be as simple as that. Or you are having health issues and your body's like, dude, slow the fuck down. Like if you're getting sick all the time, I say this all the time. If you're getting sick all the time, slow the fuck down. Take a vacation if you can, like for real, because that is your body telling you to slow the fuck down. Um, so yeah, I decided to listen. I decided to be like, oh shit, this psychic who I've actually never talked to before this reading, I haven't told her anything. I had told no one about the panic attacks, not my boyfriend, not my mom, no one. Um, and she picked up on that. That's how serious it was. Like, that's how I looked at it. Like, wow, this has to be so serious that I need to take this advice, or like she said, something bad's going to happen. They're going to make you stop. So that's when I started to implement what I'm about to tell you. Okay, so I wrote this down when I thought of this episode topic. Um, Rest is a ritual. The sacred energetics of slowing down, honoring your cycle, and integrating psychic downloads without guilt is key to success. So, we're going to talk about hustle culture and burnout and all of those things. Um, I want to first touch on how your cycle phases reveal what kind of work is aligned for you, because here's the thing is I'm not saying to just like stop working hard. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a balance, which I say all the time. There is always a balance to be had. It is not all or nothing. You can make the same amount of money by also taking time to rest and taking breaks. Believe it or not, you can. And I want you to believe that, because here's also the thing is you can have whatever schedule you would like. It's just about believing that you can and adjusting your schedule, sometimes even ruthlessly, by setting boundaries, by having the right priorities, and aligning those boundaries and priorities with what actually feels fucking good to you. So, if your goal is to succeed, whatever that means to you, which maybe you need to look at what that means for you, but that's a different conversation for another day. To me, I want to help as many people as I can with my gifts and by teaching them how to develop their own gifts. And I also want to make a lot of money while I do it. I also want to have a thriving romantic relationship and friendships and familial relationships. And I want to be able to feel deeply connected to myself and honor myself and feel good while I do all of it. I want to get a degree in marketing and psychology that I'm working on right now. I want to help other businesses with their marketing. Those are all my goals, and that's a lot. Like I'm sure you have a lot of goals too that feel like a lot to accomplish. So I'm not saying to get rid of those goals and just like not try anymore. That's not what I'm saying when I say rest more. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can still have those goals, but have a process and system and schedule that actually helps you thrive on the journey to those goals, because we all know you're going to get to those eventually. Um, but do you want to be fucking miserable on the way, or do you actually want to enjoy your life on the way? Because I want you to be able to look back once you've completed those goals. I want you to be able to look back and be like, that was fucking fun. What a great life. What a great life I had leading up to this goal. Like that's how I want to feel. I don't want to feel like I fucking killed myself to get here and I didn't even enjoy one thing on the way. And that is kind of where I started with this whole rest thing, is if you're experiencing burnout, you're constantly exhausted, you feel like you don't have time for love, joy, pleasure, and actually nurturing your physical body, whether that's going to the gym more or eating better or taking your time while you eat, just like the fucking little things, like Taurus season themes, you know what I mean? Like enjoying life. If you feel like you don't have time to do that, something has got to fucking change, because what I don't want to see is you waste your life away thinking that you need to work your ass off because of some standard or expectation someone else or you have put on yourself. Fucking chill. You know what I mean? Like, and trust me, I had to learn that myself and I'm still learning that myself, like I said. So I started there. I was like, okay, well, how do I want my fucking days to feel? Like, do I want to stop working at this time no matter how much or how little I got done? Hell yeah. Like sometimes you have to tell yourself these hard to, follow boundaries and be a little ruthless. Be like, hey, partner, I don't want to hang out today because I need a fucking day alone. I haven't had a day alone in a week. Like, you need at least a few days alone a week. I really believe that. Or not even alone, but just like refilling your cup, doing something you enjoy, going on walks on the beach, or eating a great dinner, and like, or like cooking, or like getting into your creative work again. Or for me, it was making time, making plans with my friends because I want to do paranormal investigations. That lights me up. That like is my passion. That, excuse me, is what I want to do. Like that fills my cup and it's just for fucking fun. It's not me making money. It's not me working on my business. It's me doing something that I fucking enjoy, that the inner child in me just fucking lights up at. Like, when was the last time you actually did something like that for yourself? And I know that's not rest, but like in my eyes, that's how rest is productive, because rest doesn't always have to mean laying on the bed eating chips, being not lazy, but not like isolating yourself from everyone. It doesn't have to be like isolation, or it doesn't have to be like treating yourself badly. It can be productive. It can be filling your cup up in a self-care practice or a hobby or activity that makes you feel lit up by life again. Or, like it can be your spiritual practice, getting closer to yourself. It can be ritual. It can be sacred. It can be feel productive, but not in a hustle culture kind of way. Like that's what I'm learning. And especially if you do have a lot of energy and you are a busybody, like you don't need to just, I'm not saying force yourself to sit there for 5 minutes. Like if that's not aligned to you, that's fine. The point of all of this is you have to do what makes you feel good for you. If working 24 fucking 7 doesn't feel good for you, then it's time to change something. And don't say, oh, it's out of your control. La, la, la. Have you communicated to people what your needs are? Have you even gotten clear on how you feel about your life and what you would rather have instead if it doesn't feel good? Have you exalted every single option? Have you done the action steps to actually change your reality and change what you want about your schedule, about your life, and how it's going now? Like at some point, you have to start following you. You really do. Let's see. What's next? Oh yeah, and about your cycle, that's also what I had to look at. Is I'm a woman, hello. So I have a cycle. I have 4 phases in my cycle. Your period, where you're bleeding, or your menstrual phase, follicular, ovulation, and then your luteal phase. In my there's and I'm not going to get into this super hard because I'm not a doctor. But you have to also work with your body in your hormonal cycle. I had to really learn that too, that when I'm in my luteal phase and I need more naps, I'm gonna fucking take a nap. And that means I'm still productive because I'm working with my body. Imagine if I pushed through and then had a panic attack the next day, or had a mental breakdown the next day because I didn't take time to rest for me. It's also very important to realize that when you start working with your energy levels and actually taking time to recharge, you show up better for the shit you do have to do. You actually make more impact by doing less, because the shit you are doing is more, you're showing up with more energy, you're showing up with more life, you're showing up with more joy and passion and a full cup. So you can actually give more. Your cup is so full that it's overflowing, so you can give more. You know what I mean? Like, if you're giving from an empty cup, there's nothing fucking to give. You're just ruining your life. That was dramatic, but you know what I mean. Um, I also want to take the time to mention, like, how taking more time for myself and resting and doing productive alone time, which is my new term for bettering yourself and getting closer to yourself, that has also helped my psychic gifts as well because I have a clearer mind and I have clearer energy. If you're constantly bombarding your energy with other people in new environments or the same environments, or you're just constantly bombarding your energy field with more and more and more because you feel pressure to get out there and do something and like work hard, you're clouding your energy field, so your fucking intuition is like so confused all the time. Like when I started to take quiet time to myself, whether that's reading my book or meditating or taking a nap or sitting in my room in silence and just fucking staring at the ceiling for a second, or cleansing my energy more, that's been huge. Or going outside more, going on walks more, getting in the gym and having like a good gym session with myself, or doing something that lights me up. Like these are all things I've been doing that I qualify as rest. When I started doing these things, my inner world became way more clear. It became clearer to understand myself and to understand the messages I'm receiving from the universe. So I have been having more premonitions. I'm remembering my dreams more. I actually lucid dreamt the other night, which was cray. I was like making shit happen in my dream. It was insane and it was so cool. And that's because like I'm not having so many things bombard my consciousness. Like, holy shit. Like, if you're constantly like consuming like social media or content, or you're constantly like everything I just mentioned, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. You have a clearer channel when you rest more. You truly, truly, truly do. And I also want to touch on a huge lesson about this whole rest theme that I am learning now is that hustle does not equal abundance. The energetics of receiving mode is something everyone has to learn. This is a huge part of manifestation. We all want to manifest something. We all want to better our lives. We all want to be successful. We all want to meet these goals that I mentioned before. Apply this to your life. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to manifest, there is a process that you are ignoring if you're constantly hustling. And this is kind of getting into like masculine and feminine energy too. Masculine is that go-getter, doer, hustle, hardworking energy in a very grounded, goal-oriented way. It's the masculine energy, the doer, right? The taking charge. The feminine energy is the energetics behind that. We all have both within us and we all need both to be whole. Okay, when you are ignoring the feminine energy, that is your receiving mode. That is the key to everything. Feminine energy is creation. Feminine energy is divine receiving mode. That is where feminine energy is, like I said, receiving mode, but that just basically means that you're so in your energy that you become a magnet, and then you understand that you don't, it's that affirmation that like went viral a few years ago. I don't chase, I attract. Masculine energy is going to get it and it's giving, and feminine energy is pulling back your energy and taking the time to come back to yourself so that you can open yourself up to actually receive the results of the effort that you put in. When you don't take time for that feminine energy mode, men, I'm talking to you too. Obviously, I'm talking to women too. Like everyone needs to do this, no matter what gender you are. If you don't take time for that feminine mode, you are not leaving room for the universe to do its job too. Feminine energy needs to be tapped into to feel that trust in the universe that you're going to receive what you've been working so hard for. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying earlier, where it's like, it's not all or nothing. It's not just masculine and just feminine. You need to have room for both in life. When you do life, you need to have room for both. It's not about constantly working hard. It's about working hard and then knowing when to cap it off and fucking rest and trust that you're going to receive results of why you're working so hard. Like if you don't give room to rest and be in receiving mode, you're suffocating your goals. You're like constantly, like, it's energy, like you're suffocating and putting hands on and trying to control so hard what you're working so hard for. But you need to like release control and surrender and take time to pull back your energy and fill your own cup up back up first, so that you leave room for the results to actually come to fruition and for things to fall into place and for the universe to come in and do its job with the action you've taken in the 3D. It's an equation. It's an equation, which I hope makes sense. And that's why hustle doesn't equal abundance, is because if you're constantly hustling, you're not leaving room for feminine energy and pure abundance, true abundance, financial, emotional, love, abundance of everything that you want and everything that you're manifesting comes when you have a good flow of both. Okay. So there's that. And that's what we're not taught. That's what we're not taught. Okay. Okay. So I want to give you guys a practice you can do that, well, I kind of went into what I've been doing to um help myself understand that rest is productive and all of that. But what's been really helping me is one, so okay, if you feel like you like this spoke to you and you're like, yeah, I think I'm like hustling a little too hard and I'm not taking time for rest, or when I do rest I feel lazy and guilty, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, one, look at your schedule and be like, what do I actually, if I'm for real manifesting my dream life, do you want to be working this fucking hard forever? You have to create the schedule that you want your future self to have. Like the number one piece of manifestation advice that I've heard is, and that I live by and teach the fuck, is act like how your future self would. The person you want to be that has a life you desire, be that person and look at all aspects of that person's life and embody them now. And then you'll be that person. Do you see what I'm saying? So that starts with like, how are they living their life? Are they constantly fucking working? I don't think so. Do they take time for rest and play and joy and like receiving pleasure and love and connection and filling their own cup up? Of course they do, because that's the point of life. The point of life is not to run yourself on an empty gas tank and fucking run on fumes. Like that's just not the point of why we're here. So I would definitely look at how you want your schedule to look. How do you even want to live your life? How can you shift things in your life to better suit your needs and to leave room for rest too? Because as we've discussed, that is very important to have time for. So that's the first thing I would do. And then the next thing is, what does rest look like for you? I've given you my definition, I've given you examples, and if they resonate, cool. If not, then you have some exploration to do with yourself, which is amazing. For me, I feel like, so it's Monday now. I feel like over the weekend I took time for no rest. And I think that's important to mention too, is that we're not going to be perfect with this. This is going to take practice, because these beliefs of hustle, 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 go, go, go are deeply ingrained in a lot of us. And it's going to take time to kind of switch those beliefs and uproot those belief systems to live differently and to feel better about this, right? So, giving myself grace for not following my own advice this weekend. But for me, just going into an example of like how rest starts to look like for me when I started learning all of this, is I can tell when I'm taking time alone and I'm like scrolling through my phone, like when I'm not really recharging when I'm alone. Am I staying off my phone, or am I scrolling, consuming, overloading my nervous system and my brain with all this bullshit? Huge difference in the results I get from the rest that is, right? Am I eating like shit and binge eating and not treating my physical body great, or am I getting enough protein and fiber and all the lovely foods that I have access to and that I could cook or make myself. Like, there's a difference in saying you're taking care of yourself and saying you're taking a break and taking time for self-care and resting than actually doing that. Like, are you fueling your body with the right thoughts, the right energy, the right physical things? Um, because if you're coming out of a resting time, like some self-care time, and you still feel like anxious and like frustrated or sad or like just still in a dark ass place. Hold on, y'all. My freaking camera shut off again. Someone remind me to fucking like turn that dang timer off. Okay. I've been doing this thing where I have like a country accent now. Anyway, if you're coming out of rest and you still feel like actual shit, and I'm not saying like, again, we're not perfect. You're not going to come out of like a night alone and be like, I'm healed. Sometimes that does happen to me though. You have to find a ritual that works for you. For me, when I really need some time alone and I know I want to feel like so much better when I come out of it, I take an everything, I schedule a whole day. I take an everything shower. Well, first I go to the gym. I sweat really hard. I go outside in the woods and just like get fucking dirty, or I go to the beach and like dig my feet in sand. And then I take an everything shower. I shave everything and like I do my hair and like I put on my favorite outfit and I read my book or I clean my room. Like I reset. It's a reset. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like a Sunday reset. Like those work for me. That is rest for me. That is productive for me. That's filling my own cup. So like those specific things are examples of how I like recharge my energy. And once I started doing that more, I have more room to do stuff like this, to show up for my business or to have an actual good time with my boyfriend or my friends or my family. And I'm not showing up like a miserable, empty bitch. You know what I mean? Like this taking time for yourself and for your energy, even if that is just sleeping, whatever fills you up again, is my point with this. That is what you need to find out next. What is that for you? And then you need to do it. You need to make time for it. And if you need to be ruthless about making that time for yourself, then be fucking ruthless. Be a bitch about it. Be a fucking bitch about it. And everyone around you is going to thank you for being ruthless about your boundaries because you are finally prioritizing yourself, which therefore pours in love and energy and healing into all of your relationships because you are taken care of first. That is the point of all of this. Um, that's that. That's that. Um, yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. All done. Bye. No, I'm kidding. I hope this helped you. And I'm sure I forgot to mention a lot of things, but that is exactly why my business has so many beautiful different spaces that I can plug into at any time, that I have beautiful members in. I made the Mackenzie Collective to share the lessons I'm going through now and the wisdom I would like to share with others. And the podcast is obviously how I do that. But I also have a lot of other spaces where I share way more personal, intimate details of my life and how these lessons have helped me, and more specific tips and tricks that I use in my routines and rituals, and sharing my channeling abilities to help your life. Like I have multiple spaces where I do that, where I teach you way more in depth and specific things like this topic. This episode right here, what you just watched, is a total baby scratching the surface intro of what I offer in my other offers. So for example, I have a free Discord space. If you don't know what it's called, if you haven't heard of it, it's the Enchanted Portal. I love that space. Every Monday, I go in with a channeled message for the collective to help you guys just start off your week great. I do Q&As in there. I do exclusive offers in there. I share a lot of exclusive content that I don't share anywhere else. That is a free Discord. I have over 30 members in there now. Would love for you to join that and have that support 24/7 in that beautiful community of mine. And then I also have my soul guidance membership where I walk you through creating the life of your dreams with psychic readings every week, bonus episodes of my podcast, like I mentioned earlier, every Tuesday. So after this, I'm going to go record that. I also do monthly mentorship calls in there with my members. So they have one-on-one support with me to help them with their lives as well. Yeah, I have plenty of spaces to help you integrate advice like this, because you can watch the podcast all you want. You can watch any podcast all you want, but are you actually using the information to change your life? That is the question. And that's what you need to do. So I have plenty of spaces where you can do that with me. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in today. And if you have any questions or have anything you would like to share, I'm going to link my Google form anyone can respond to. You can put your name if you want, or you can leave it anonymous, and I'll feature you on the next episode of Divine Gossip with your question or story or any advice you need. I'll link that down below for you to use. Okay. I love you so much. I will see you next Tuesday. Funny. Haha. Okay. Bye. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to rate and review Divine Gossip on whatever platform you listened in on. Head to themackenziecollective.com to work with me further. If you have any questions or have any topics you want me to cover or any guests you want me to have on, please email all of that to info@themackenziecollective.com or go to the episode description to fill out my Google form. I love you. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode.